Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of the Stoneywood Dyce Cricket Club podcast. Today I'm joined by two people very well known at Stoneywood Dyce and in the grades. So we're going to do a grade show today. I mean, it's probably good to talk about the grades. It's been dwindling for a while, and these two have certainly been around for a long time. So I think it's good to raise the profile and speak about our time in the grades at Stoneywood Dyce and what these guys have done in the grades in their whole careers and what they've done at Stoneywood Dyce. So joined by Robin, Taylor and Mark Lambley. So first of all, how are you guys doing? I mean, we're back to a bit of normality now.
Yeah, good. Been keeping fit during the lockdown. Getting out running most days, gym stuff most days as well. Glad to see my Stoneywood Dyce hoodie still fits me, which is a bonus. Just as well I got the triple XL size last time. But no.
Slammer, been keeping busy with Lucy and Jack.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been I've been quite lucky. Both me and Louise still have been going to work and that, so we have been quite lucky. So Jack's been stepping in and doing a wee bit of childcare, but no, it's good. It's enjoying the time off, so it's all good. Yeah. Nice to get back to a bit of cricket as well now. So
it's been good to get cricket. Obviously, if you haven't seen, just check comms and get back to cricket if you guys listening want to. So anyway, today we're going to do 4 little bits. We're going to start with the Q&A and then go over and talk about grades over the years and what we've done in the grades of Stoneywood Dyce in the last 10 years. And then we're going to end with these two grade stalwarts picking the best ever grades teams that they've played with and against. I think it's going to include some big names. So anyway, we'll start with the Q&A. So Robin, who is your favourite opposition over the years, just general?
Oh dear, it was always nice playing at Crathie.
Yeah.
There have actually been a lot of good oppositions over the years. There have been a lot of teams who have been a similar sort of standard. We always got a good game against, whether it was, sometimes they won, sometimes we won. Probably more often we won. But clubs like Meth, clubs like Fraser, Bankery, Eastern Haven, Inverurie, even Inverurie as well. They were nice guys. And some of the city clubs, Crescent were a bunch of good guys, and Corians Academy. This is going back a wee while now, probably before the Stoneywood days. But these teams, when I started off, were all fun to play against.
Yeah. You couldn't possibly pick one for Crathie.
Yeah, well, I suppose. Well, Cathie's going to be the answer to one of the questions that comes later. Perhaps giving that away.
Horace, you got a favourite opposition?
Yeah, I think Fraserburgh would be one of my favourite oppositions. I think they're a decent bunch of lads that you got up there. You always get a good game with them, with the Bowie brothers and Fraser Lawrence, a few of the other guys up there. Not to mention them all, but they're a decent bunch, and they always made you friendly, and it was always a good standard, whether you played them at home and away. Plus, they used to, if you had the youngsters come into the team as well, they used to take it a bit easier. Where some of the teams would, if you had youngsters coming in, they'd bowl flat out and absolutely friendly. But they were always good at allowing youngsters to come in as well. So no, Fraser would be my, like Robin's mentioned, a lot of good teams there, and a lot of friendly teams. Like say, Inverurie, I know we've had our spats the last couple of seasons, but a good bunch of lads and a really good team, really competitive. Crescent and Currens, Queen's Cross, all good friendly teams. But my favourite is Fraserburgh.
Yeah, definitely. So have you got a favourite ground that you've played at over the years, Mark?
I think I'm probably going to steal Robin's thunder here, but it would have to be Crathie. Right in the grounds of Balmoral, an absolutely fantastic clubhouse with a thatch roof, and the local butcher's pies at half time, absolutely fantastic. I remember once playing a game there in June and getting snowed off with the weather, but a lovely place to play cricket, even though the wicket used to vary in lengths.
So that's your answer, Roland.
Yeah, I like Mark said, I think that Crathie is certainly the loveliest place to play that I've played grades cricket. There's you stand at one end of the ground and you get the hills in the background, you stand at the other end of the ground, you get Balmoral Castle in the background. And when the sun comes out, which is usually for about 5 minutes after we've called the game off because it's been snowing.
And if you're lucky, Queen Elizabeth is
what you have to do at Crathy Throw is you have to you have to field first.
Yeah.
So you can get the pies at half time. Enjoy the pies at half time.
You can like a proper bowler there, Robin.
Well, that's maybe just me because I usually bat number 11 or 12 down there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you got probably another really hard question, but have you got any favourite teammate over the years, Robin?
Oh, a lot of good teammates over the years. I'm going to say a few here. I think Neil Wright is the one who's probably been my teammate for the longest. He was in the Queen's Cross team when I started 30 odd years ago. He's a fantastic cricketer. I really enjoyed playing with him. Ian Jemison, who was at Queen's Cross when I joined as well, and of course his sons Grant and Gavin have both been fun playing with them too. Brother it's been fun playing with him, and at the Stoneywood days, guys like Mark and Tariq have been good guys to play with, similar sort of vintage to myself. Not possibly Mark a wee bit younger, but similar sort of age, similar sort of mentality. There to to enjoy the game, and it's been really good playing with some of the youngsters as well. We'll maybe mention that a wee bit later on.
Yeah, Mark, any favourite teammates over the years?
Yeah, I think starting out initially, Ancorans, a lot of good guys. Well, a lot of good guys met throughout the grades, but I think mention would have to go to like Alan Forbes, Chris Forbes, John Reaper, Dave Cormack, Jerry O'Brien. Probably missed a few there, but a lot of good guys. Duncan Fale, really good cricketers who turn up week in, week out for a game of cricket. They played cricket in the right way, played it hard, but really, really enjoyed it and were good with other teams. But laterally, I think coming into Stoneywood, I think I've really enjoyed playing with Robin under Robin's leadership, when Rory plays as well, and like to be in Leask as well. I think when Ian comes along, I think it's great that Ian's still playing at his age and still taking some tremendous slip catches.
Ridiculous.
But I think just the way Robin, I think, looked after Stoneywood in the grades and gave everybody a chance. Didn't bowl me enough, but
same. Treat. That's what this calls for. We're just having to go Robin for not giving us the ball, Mark.
What fun is it going along a game, having you guys taking 5 for nothing, and then we have you batting and hit the first ball for 6 to win?
We'd have no space in the honours board if me and Mark got a ball all the time. Anyway, that's good.
Guys not bowling.
Have you got a funniest teammate over the years, Slammers? Apart from yourself, obviously, your little giggle.
Yeah, I think it would probably, looking back, would be Alan Forbes, the late Alan Forbes. I learned so much from him as a cricketer. A vast experience, but just his general chat, his banter, was top notch. Moving on, I always like playing with Michael Laujaba. He's always got a few wits and funny ones, especially when he's in the changing rooms and. It's feeling big today, boys, eh? And I think Alan McLean as well. Alan McLean's always a good guy to play with, and the fact he comes along with probably the world's oldest cricket bag in the world. He still has a coffin.
A coffin, yeah.
Takes out the change room. He's got his Punch and Judy show and all sorts that he puts up. Just a good set of guys. Alan, like I say, Jabba and Alan McLean, and really enjoyed their wit and banter.
Yeah. Yourself, Robin?
Yeah, well, from Queen's Cross days, probably the young there was a group of older guys and a group of young lads, the Jemisons, Kieran Finlay, and Andrew Russell, and some of the stuff they used to come up with was just. It was. I suppose it was good. But some of it you just think, gee whiz. It was funny to listen to, and it was funny, and you were laughing sometimes at them rather than with them. And at Stoneywood, the one that always gives me a laugh was Farhad.
Yeah.
Chowdhury, who's I think now down in Edinburgh, but the reasons for Farhad turning up at 1:20 every week were, I think there was one day he turned up early because we told him the game was starting at 11. He turned up at 12, I think. Things like that. But again, guys like Mark and the folk that he's mentioned, it's been fun playing with.
Yeah. My favorite thing about Farhad is he was last to get there and first to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He liked batting second, Farhad, didn't he? So he could get out and just pop off home. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, you've both been captains over the years. Is there any one person that you really needed a wicket you're always throwing the ball to?
It would depend on the circumstances.
Yeah.
If not Mark. Not Mark. If runs weren't an object, I would bowl myself.
Yeah.
And I would put a guy out at long on, a guy out at deep mid wicket, and a guy halfway between them. Bowl straight. And if you're playing against Grades guys, they will either miss it or they'll hit it to one of those guys.
Yeah.
Except Alan Forbes, who did it over those guys every time. I tried that with him. If probably the go-to bowler I'd have had would have been Gavin Jemison. He was the one guy who could, I think, bowl something that could get anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the other guy who could do that was Abdullah Khedi.
Yeah, AB mentioned him. Yeah,
he was I think he was somebody who would have been capable of getting almost anybody out.
Agreed.
The problem we'd have with him is he'd tell you all about it in the car on the way home.
Yourself, Mark? Apart from yourself, you would obviously throw the ball to me or you, but
absolutely, yeah. No, there's been a lot of really good bowlers that I've played with and I had the fortune to play with. But I think taking people in the past and now, I would say John Grant would be at that level.
Mm-hmm.
You could keep on the ball and he would put a line in length and he would just bowl consistently for his 10 overs. The other thing as well is last year I think we had Ross and Jack against Gordonians, and it was fantastic. Gave them the ball and said, "Go on, guys, just bowl as fast as you can for 4 or 5 overs," and that was brilliant. I think to give youngsters like that an opportunity is great as well. So I think giving them an opportunity.
Yeah,
to go.
Absolutely. And then last question we'll do in the Q&A is your favourite cup win or promotion that you've had over the years. Mark, yourself, start there.
I think my favourite cup win. I'm just looking at my notes here, KP. I scribbled down some notes last night. So I think it was a Reed Cup final against Huntley, and it was on a Sunday, and it was played at Sherricks because Dudley Park wasn't available. I can't remember the exact date, but it was about 2002. Mm-hmm. We turned up at Sherricks, and of course the change rooms, you used to have to take your bags out to the pitch and put them on the side of the pitch. Usual Sherricks conditions, it would be blowing a gale and freezing cold and that. And Huntley came down, and they've got the marquee. They pulled up on the main road, and a marquee over the kind of fence at the side, and they got the beer kegs and that all set up. And they'd obviously, with it being a Sunday, they'd obviously brought down a few of their Strathmore players. So I thought all they needed to do would be turn up, and that would be them.
Yeah.
Win it. But we actually beat them. I can't remember the exact performances, but we beat them quite comfortably. Which at that time it was a good result, because I Huntley just thought they were going to turn up. So that was probably, from a grade point of view, that was a really good one. And I think the next one is getting promoted from grade 2 to grade 1 with Stoneywood, with as our leader. I think that was a really just satisfaction that year, because a lot of hard work with everybody paid off. And we did really well.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Go on yourself.
I've got two cup wins. One, I think we won more than 2 cups, just about. But the second year I played for Queen's Cross, we beat Newton Hill at Dunecht in the Duncan Cup final. We started a magnificent start. I think we were about 16 for 4 after about 5 overs. We started off walking around the pitch, and 2 guys had to run back across the pitch to get padded up. Way back. Neil Wright and a guy called Hamish Forbes on 80 for the 5th wicket, which was going some out of a total of 105. And Neil then took, I think, 8 for 38 and caught one of the other guys out. And we got them all out for 92, and it was a really good win. The one that probably wasn't the greatest game, but the one that gave an enormous amount of satisfaction, was winning the Monaco Cup in 2009. Playing against second Colts. We got a hiding from them 2 years before in the final, and they turned up with pretty much the same team. They bat first, we bowled them out for 44. The game's finished by 3:30.
Yeah.
And like Mark said, as far as promotion is concerned, getting the promotion for Stoneywood in 2017, I think it was enormously satisfying. We missed it a couple of times in previous years.
Anyway, that's good. I thought we'd just start with a quick Q&A to see, obviously, your answers over your cricketing years. So get on to talk about the grades. And so, Mark, when you started playing in the grades, what was it like? And what was the standard like compared to now? And who did you play for?
I moved up to Aberdeen when I was 16 from Sheffield. So I played a lot of cricket down back home, down back in England. And it was like with school, my PE teacher was used to play for Notts. Second, he was like educating us into like cricket. So I moved up here. One of the lads at school played for Ancorians, and he said, "Oh, come on for a practice." And I went along and started playing for them. I think at that time we were probably in grade 3. And Robin will keep us right here, but I think there was 5 grades at that time. It was all a decent, pretty good standard back then, and the wickets that you played on were pretty good. And I played for Ancorians right through KP until 2011, I think, when Ancorians folded. So I've seen some good cricketers and played against some good teams during that time.
Yeah, definitely. And Robin, yourself?
I'm similar to Mark in a way. I've only played for 2 grades teams. I played at home. I didn't actually play cricket apart from at school until I finished university. But I met Ian Jamieson through work. Ian played for Queen's Cross, started playing for them in April 1988. We were grade 3 at the time, and just played for them through till the last year was 2010, and then stopped with the merged with Stoneywood Dyce. And that was that. As Mark said, I think at the time there were 5 grades. I think Queen's Cross had a second team for 15, 16 years at that time.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it? I mean, I suppose there was heaps of teams. There's probably 30 odd teams, and then a few of them had second and third teams. So why do you guys think that it's just been a downward spiral? And do you think there's any way it can be saved in a way? Because it's just getting lower and lower each year, isn't it?
I don't know. I think there are lots of other things to do. I think one major factor is the weather. You can practice 4 days, 5 days, 6 days a week. Your game's on a Saturday. You have an hour of rain on Saturday morning, or at the wrong time on Saturday, and you're knackered. You then go away and you think, okay, fine, I'll get a game next week. The same thing happens the following week, and you just think, well, I'd rather do something else in the summer.
What's the point? Yeah.
A level of commitment to it. Maybe there's probably less cricket in schools and stuff now. Less people brought up with it. I think ultimately it's just there's lots of other things that people can do on Saturday.
Mark, any thoughts?
No, I think Robin's touched on most of the stuff. I think that, I think it's quite a transient population we've got in Aberdeen, and in days gone by when the oil was at its peak, we were getting lots of people coming in, lots of people from down south, from other countries who played cricket and used to come and it used to maintain the standards in the grades really high. And as kind of people have moved away from the area, the numbers have dwindled. And as Robin says, there's no cricket done in any of the schools. And it's a long time to spend away from family on a Saturday or on a Sunday at all. Sometimes, I think we're moving in the right direction in relation to the setup Cricket Scotland have got now, and getting in about the All Stars, the Dynamos, that kind of stuff, trying to get people's and the youngsters interested at an early age. But it'll probably take a few years for that to filter through.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a built-in.
The other thing, just touching on what Mark has said, there's a good youth set up at Stoneywood. There's probably good setups at one or two other clubs, maybe Aberdeenshire, maybe Aberdeen. A lot of the clubs, particularly in the grades, aren't probably that interested in development.
Yeah.
Which can make things difficult.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a junior under 13s, I used to play games against Fraserbrae, Inverurie, Stonehaven, Gordonians, Bankery. These teams don't have a senior side now. So yeah, it's a shame.
Some of the out of Aberdeen places tend to be good. I know Fraserbrae's got a good setup. I know there's a couple of guys at Ellon and Bankery are good. Inverurie, a place that I thought might have reached more youngsters, particularly given the success of the Inverurie team.
It's a shame, but hopefully it can survive for a bit longer. Because as you say, it used to be a really good standard in 5 grades, and now it's barely got 2 and 3. So anyway, we'll get on to some of your memories of grades over the years. So Mark, start with yourself. I know there's been probably quite a few big tons over the years, but have you got a favourite one?
I think probably my favourite one was going back to 2006, and it would have been against the Neck on Dudley Park 1. That's when Dudley Park 1 was an absolute road. It's probably the best wicket in Aberdeen.
My dad used to say Dudley Park was a road, and I was like, behave yourself, Stuart.
Honestly, it was one of my best wickets in Aberdeen DP1. And I just remember that Louise came down and watched us that day, and I think I got 160, 161. And it was just everything he connected with came off the bat, and it was into the trees, and just an absolute fantastic day. Lovely weather, lots of people watching, just a great day.
Is that what made her mind up, was it? Coming to Dudley Park and watching you bat?
I know how to treat the ladies, Keith.
Yourself, Robin? Maybe not too many with the bat in hand, but there's certainly been a few with the ball.
I can remember the one time I passed 50. There was a game against Bankery. Finished the game with a 6.
Love it.
To take me to 54, which is remains my highest ever score anywhere other than the back garden.
Favourite forms of the ball?
Well, I was always probably more a bowler than a batsman. I think it was just probably just untapped talent in the batting. I mean, I've opened several times, and usually guys run me out just to avoid being embarrassed by me. So runs on them. But No, Don's a more successful bowler
Yeah.
than a batsman. I think we played a few good holes. One, I think, probably the best. The one I think was the best was against Monaco in 2005. Played him at the links, and we took 5 for 16 and 12 overs, and got their good guys out. And it was guys caught slip and stuff, not guys caught away out there. But and we had them 24 overs, 45 for 5. We got 172 because they batted all the way down to the number 10, and they still won by 100 runs. So
lovely. Must be hard to pick from all your 5, 6, and 7-fers, I'm sure.
Sorry?
Must have been hard to pick a bowling performance from all your holes.
Well, that's the one I remember because it was against
Bonaccord, yeah.
Well, you're going to hear my best grades team later, and certainly 3 or 4 of the guys I think in that team.
Yeah. And Mark, remember any memorable games or your favourite games that you've played in the grades over the years?
So I'll look at my notes here. I probably think winning promotion with Stoneywood was the best one, and I think getting the 160 was a memorable occasion.
Yeah.
There's so many. I mean, that's been probably 35 years in the grades. Every game, kind of every time you can go out and play is enjoyable.
Yeah. So you can't pick of one particular one. So we'll get on to the Stoneywood Dyce stuff. Not from the Encodian days or any. I know the grades is known for a bit of feisty behaviour. You got any of those?
Oh, we had just the usual kind of Sherrixley ones where you're up at Sherrixley and you're fighting the motorbikes flying across the pitch and the stolen cars flying across the pitch. I once saw Alan Forbes hit a 6 off the top deck on Sherrixley that went over the fence at the bottom and smashed the sunroof in a car park at the bottom car park. I think the other thing that kind of springs to mind was Robin will remember John Reaper that used to open the bowling for, and John used to bowl. I could bowl, but he couldn't throw, and he didn't have an arm. And every time he fielded, he used to pick up the ball and throw it underarm into the keeper. And this time there's a run chase going on, and I remember John being out on the boundary. I don't know why he was out on the boundary because he was normally a fine leg specialist. But he was out on the boundary. The ball went to him. He bent down to pick it up, and he went to throw it underarm. And instead of throwing it towards the thing, he threw it straight back over his head. 4 runs. It's just like one of those videos you see in the grades, But
village cricket, love it.
All the rest of the team just kind of couldn't do anything for laughing. Just
Robin, yourself, any memorable games or any handbags or?
Right. Well,
how long do we have?
Well, again, a bit like you're talking about you're talking about 30. Well, in my case, 30 odd years, just over 30 years of grades games. I'll tell you, first of all, my most successful game was against Gordonians. I wasn't captain this day. Opened the batting and thrashed my way to 25 off 31 overs. And then took 8 for 55.
Yeah.
20 overs and 5 balls.
It's not a bad afternoon's work.
We only had 10 guys, so
taking that. Anyway, let's move on to the Stoneywood stuff.
We will go all the way through.
Yeah.
As far as funny stuff is concerned, again, lots of things. Probably the funniest thing I would have seen if it hadn't happened to me would have been the first game I played for Stoneywood at People's Park. I think it was a cup game. It was a Sunday game. We played there on the Sunday. I think it was against Academy. We were 180 or something, and they were 52 for 8 or something. And Rory and Neil White had got wickets. I used to have an old pair of cricket boots, and I thought I'll put on, because we're playing at Stoneywood, I'll get a new set of studs, put my new studs on. Comes into the goal, tears in off my long run up, sort of steps that day. As my arm is here, my back foot, my back foot gets caught, the studs get caught. I go down like one of these chimneys that you see. You know, you films of chimneys blowing up and collapsing.
Yeah.
And in the face, I think Ben Henderson was the overseas amateur. Was it Ben Henderson?
Yeah.
I didn't hear him, but you could see his shoulder. And I thought, okay, things can only get better from here. One thing it didn't actually happen on the pitch, but I thought was quite funny, was a guy who was up again at Cherixley one, a guy who had his wee moped or motorbike and was zipping about the top bit, passing his usual comments about cricketers being
all the niceties.
I know all the niceties. So he gets to one end, you're up, and his bike runs out of petrol. So he then walks back, pushing his thing past all of us who's been giving stick to, and maybe there were one or two wee comments addressed to him in the way that.
Only nice things, I can imagine.
Only nice things. Some of the stumps or that sort of stuff. But remember, that gave a degree of satisfaction, I have to say.
Yeah. That's good.
The game finished nice and quick before him and his brothers and pals all came in with their axes and stuff after.
That's what we got. Let's get on to some Stoneywood stuff. So, you guys have been prominent in the team for the last 10 years. So, Mark, how did Stoneywood Dyce come about? Obviously, you said Anconians folded in 2011, and you were playing for Stoneywood fairly soon after.
Yeah, 2011, and I thought that was going to be the end of my cricketing kind of days. I went and played for Colts for a couple of games just to ask to go along there.
Rob's mouth said it was the end of your cricketing days.
I think just with the youngsters set up at Dyce, Jack was, obviously my son, he was getting into cricket, so I'd heard about Stoneywood and the good junior setup there. So I took Jack along to one of the training sessions, and whilst I was up there, I bumped into Robin, and Robin kind of encouraged us to come along to a couple of practice sessions and training sessions, and that's it. The rest is history.
Yeah, I think I remember your first game where you hit like a 50 and you just kept complaining that you couldn't see and that you were retired and all that. I was like, no, you're not. You're better than all of us here. Rob, how did Stoneywood Dyce come about? Obviously, we spoke about it a bit last week with Alan Barron, but it was obviously Queen's Cross merged.
Queen's Cross had a fantastic 2009 season, got promoted to Grade 1, and then what it was, the wheels just came off. We ended up losing, I think, every game bar one in 2010, including some really not good results. And ended up with guys just stopped playing, and we got to the stage that we got to the end of the year, and I think at that time Grant Jameson was already playing up at Stoneywood, and a couple of guys at the club had a chat and thought, that I wonder if at that time Stoneywood had a National League side, a Strathmore Union side, and their team that year was playing in Grade 4, and the Grade 4 team got promoted to Grade 3. But I thought, well, we've got a few guys here who are, some of whom are probably capable of playing at a higher level. Guys like Grant and Gavin and Kieran Finlay, who's a good player. Even Neil Wright and my brother, I think, would have been guys who could have played Strathmore Union cricket quite easily. We spoke to Alan and talked about getting so if there was any prospect of joining up, so that there would be almost like a ladder, Grade 4, Grade 2, Strathmore National League, with a chance for guys to move up and down depending on the abilities or otherwise, and a chance for guys like me to settle into the lower end of thing. I had no pretensions of playing higher level cricket, but I was able to organise a team. I was able to be there and be supportive to older guys, and it worked out. It worked out really well, I think.
No, that's good. I feel it's Mark, you spoke about the juniors being brought through. It's been really good for that, hasn't it? It's every week we have a lot of juniors playing, and it's brought everyone through, especially people like Jack and Ross and George in recent history.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of when I started at Stoneywood, because of Jack playing, I kind of got involved in the junior setup, and the kind of coaching that they got, and and the people, the youngsters there, the McLeans, the Ross, George, Ed Freeman, Jack, a lot of Thomas Samuel, a lot of good guys who were very, very young. Even yourself, KP, I remember you were a young nipper. Going back to Ann days, David Kidd used to play for Ann with his dad Mike. David was 6 or 7 years old when he first played cricket, and I remember him batting at Dovey Park with his Harry Potter glasses on and standing trembling at one end of the wicket and getting hit with a ball and crying, and his dad having to run on and rub his leg and that, and absolutely brilliant. And then you see him now at Stoneywood and how he's come on with the coaching and development, and it's great to see now that the youngsters, all that group of youngsters now who have now come through the club, and they've listened to the advice from the older players. They've had brilliant good tips from Jan about what to do, and the setup they've got now is really, really good, and it's now been rolled out to like the juniors, the all stars, and the other stuff. So it's now at a point where maybe 50, 60 kids on a Friday night pre-COVID, but hopefully we can get back up there and get the youngsters coming through. Stoney would have always had a bit of a reputation for bringing youngsters from early on and developing through, and often going on to play international level.
Yeah, like Mark said, when I joined the first year at Stoneywood Dyce was 2011, having had not a great cricketing experience the year before, and wasn't really sure how things were going to go, and it was a real breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You play with, okay, there's some older guys there, but there was like yourself. David was probably a wee bit older than you. He played in the Grades team for starters. There was Adam Shaw, who's a fantastic batsman, but wasn't quite strong enough to score runs at Harlow, where the grass was usually quite low. He never looked like getting out, but he'd get 20 and 20 overs because teams would just set their field back. Now, I remember one game he played up at Fraserburgh where the boundaries were shorter, the grass was shorter, and he hit the ball into gaps and scored with fours instead of ones. It was fantastic to see. The Alma Moons, Sabbath and
Adib
were both, they were great. Really enjoyed Adib wicket keeping. Wasn't as much fun as watching him bowling though. I remember making him and Sabbath open the bowling one day in a cup game, I think it was, and they were both trying to bowl faster than the other one, and they actually did pretty well. And the one probably who does who really got things going again, as far as I was concerned, was Abdullah. Because he was a good player, a really good player, and he had such an enthusiasm. I used to take him back from practice. He used to stay out at West Hill, and I have to listen to him in the car on the way home. And I think the first time we took to West Hill took about 15 or 16 minutes from Dyce. By the time the end of the season was coming, I managed to take it down to about 7 or 8.
You'd have loved the new bypass if he was still here.
It was such, you got such a sense of enjoyment from him,
Yeah.
from you guys as well, just playing with them, and it made it all worthwhile. I mean, the level of it, I'm never going to be a good player. I play to enjoy it, and if me playing means that guys like you can play and enjoy it as well, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and that's the main motive of Alan Bad, and you guys like yourselves give us youngsters games and give us a chance on a Saturday. And it's happened all through the years, as you said, Mark, and it's going to continue to happen as hopefully all these all-star kids start playing and on and on. So anyway, there's a few periods I want to speak about. I mean, Robin, I think you were definitely playing. I'm not sure, Mark, if you played in 2014 and 2015. I think you were. We had two pretty big relegation battles. One of my favourite ever things is that we stayed up in the league without winning a game in 2014 because of the classic grades draw rule. These are much memories of that. Cause we got hammered pretty much every week and somehow managed to stay in the division, which was just amazing.
Well, we look at that, and yes, we won. There were 9 teams in Grade 2 that year.
Mm.
1 team dropped out.
Yeah.
So there were 8 teams. So effectively 2 teams going down. We drew 3 games and lost 6. But we beat the team below us was Colts. I think Colts Artisans.
Yeah.
And we played them twice. And the first time we played them, Mark scored 110 or 111, I think it was. We declared 190 for 2, I think it was, after 42 overs.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get them out.
Yeah.
The better half of the draw in that game. The second game that year, I think it was that year, Tariq and Jamie Stewart opened the batting and put on about 200.
Colts, yeah, got rained off.
97, Tariq got 104. We were about 250. It then started raining. I think I declared after 38 overs just to try and get them out, because I thought, well, I don't want to go back and have to bat again and then have to come off with tea and stuff. And I think you scored a few runs out. You hit one over the fence at the river.
Yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah, the small boundary.
I think we ended up that the game got rained off.
Yeah.
We weren't the worst team. I think there were a few years we did.
Yeah, I think speaking about in 2015, we probably my 2 favourite games back to back, where we were down and out really, we were up against it, and then we beat Stonehaven, and then the week after was my favourite game. I think we were both we beat Night Riders. Remember Night Riders? Where we got bowled out for 80, and then took about 20 wickets with all the LBW decisions that I've given to bowl them out for 70. So have you got any memories of that one?
Well, I remember that year we played Stonehaven twice and beat Stonehaven twice, and they were 9. The game we beat Night Riders was the first time I think that I'd ever played a game against Night Riders and had beaten them. As you said, we got them all out for 80. We were all out for 80, and was it the I think it was Rory opened the bowling, and the first ball went for 4, and the 5th ball the guy walloped you who caught it at point, and that was 1 down. And then I think the next over, I bowled the next over, and the guy did the same thing. So they're a couple down, and all of a sudden they're thinking, "Hang on a minute, this maybe isn't a walkover." But we kept at it.
Yeah.
I think Jamie Roger, I think it was, took a catch to win the game.
Take the catch on the boundary, and then the guy at the square leg umpire went and ran over to make sure his feet were in bounds. But as I say, we took about 20 wickets that day with the amount of LBWs that just weren't given. That's classic Nightmares. But that was a game that really stuck with me.
Yeah, Rory always used to comment against some teams. They'd say, "Oh, it was missing leg, but it's missing leg and the offside of leg."
Yeah.
So, But that's
So then also, I mean, moving on, Mark, something that you were very prominent in as well as Robin, the promotion in 2017. Have you got any memorable games or memories from that?
2017 promotion year.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I started off with Mark getting 100, I think, against Champion, having been dropped in one, I think it was, or maybe maybe before one. I remember that same first game. I think first coming up the ball. I think second ball, their opening batsman, who's a decent batsman, hit one to Eddie Steinson in the covers, and it was a kind of catch you do for for the kiddies at the junior thing. And here you go, catch it, and Eddie drops the thing. I thought, oh no! But we won that game. We had some really good performances that year, and got ourselves into a position with I think 3 games to go, where we just needed to, any win in any 3 games, would take us up. And we went out to Bankery and became the only team at Bankery beat the whole year. I think one of the other guys just had one of these days where everything you hit came off. And then we played Sayapa the week after that in an interesting game, and they didn't quite manage to get over the line with that. Then I think the last game was against Fraserburgh, and it ended up being rained off. I think we did about 4 shorties at keeping going. They were actually really good with that, because that game not being completed meant that they finished 9th rather
and got relegated,
rather than 8th. So it meant that because that game didn't get finished, they would have been in the relegation slot. As it turned out, they didn't get relegated because of other grade stuff. But it was nice to. I think at the start of the season we'd gone out with the intention of getting promoted, and it was nice to be able to get or to achieve that goal and to be able to contribute to that goal. And I think what was best about it was it wasn't the back of one guy getting 100 every week and 5 wickets every week, the same guy getting that. Everyone contributed throughout. There were weeks that Tariq would get runs, or Mark would get runs. At that stage, I think there were a lot of younger lads coming through. I think Jack and Fraser and Edward was maybe not playing quite so much by then. But I remember Thomas Samuel, I think, getting 3 or 4 wickets in a game against Cathy. Everyone chipped in and made a difference and put us up to grade 1. And it was
Mark, any thoughts on the 2017 promotion? Any memorable games for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, Robin's. I had a few decent knocks that season, but as Robin said, it was the whole team. It was a team performance. It wasn't just any individuals. As a team, we performed really, really well, and it was almost like we got a winning mentality. You went into games and we had confidence in everybody's ability, and you were almost expecting to win games. And I think that made a big, big difference that year. And everybody played when we played. Everybody played and enjoyed the cricket, and winning obviously helps that. But it was just a really good, just a feel-good season, I think. Really, really good.
Have you got a favourite performance in a Stoneywood Dyce shirt, Mark?
I think anytime you score runs, especially opening the batting, anytime you can kind of go and score runs, so anytime you kind of get a 50, get 100 is always kind of a memorable occasion for you. And I think you just have to accept that in cricket that you're going to get more. And I remember Sean Coates was saying to us, not Sean Stewart, he says, you have to accept that in cricket you're going to get more failures than you are successes. And when you have the successes, you make sure you enjoy them. And that's what I do. Still be able to play at my age now and score runs. It's just anything's good. Anything's good in relation to getting runs and scoring runs.
Just need to be handed the ball a bit more.
Well, I think I'm past my prime for that, but I think probably Taylor's got a few.
Have you got a favourite performance from the Stoneywood shirt?
I think any time that we win a game that I don't have to bat in is a good performance, a good team performance. I don't mind batting, but given I usually bat number 11, it always helps if we can get things done before I need to put my pads on. I can't think of any one particular performance that stands out from a personal point of view, because I don't think there have been any particularly good ones. One I do remember, and this is again perhaps a team performance as much as anything else, is when I think it was either 2014 or 2015, and we went up to Cathay on the last day of the season, and we needed I think 5 points to stay up.
Yeah.
And lost the toss and got into bat and thought, marvellous, we're going to get rolled over for 62 and they're going to score runs with 2 wickets down and we're going to get relegated. And Mark and Rob Sweargan put on 100 for the first wicket.
And that was a safe, yeah.
Which gave us our 5 points and put us safe. I hit the second ball last over for 4 to take us up to 176 declared, and then got I think 3 wickets. The last wicket, the guy hit the ball back at me, tried to catch it like that, didn't manage. But David Kidd ran in, picked the ball up and ran the guy out. And I remember thinking, if I'd caught that, I would have retired then, because then I hit a 4 off my last ball and taken a wicket and a catch off the last ball, and I wouldn't have topped that. But I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad that I didn't.
Mark, do you have a favourite game for Stoneywood Dyce over the years, in any competition?
I think I've got a couple, KP. I think there was one when I'd been promoted up to the ones, and I'd been given instructions from Jan to bat at number 7, which was I was getting a nosebleed at there. And I think it was Watsonians were playing, and me and Fahad were in, and we'd lost a few wickets, and we just needed to dig deep. And I think I ended up getting 27 not out and hit the winning runs with a 4 pulled to the boundary, and it was just a great feeling, because I think at that point we needed a win, and just walking off the pitch and everybody clapping and applauding. I just playing at that level, being able to score runs was just phenomenal, and that was just a special occasion. The other one was, I think, last year, was when we played Crescent at Dudley Park. No, sorry, at Stoneywood People's Park, and we batted first. We scored 240 off our 45 overs. George Robertson got 88 not out, and him and Jack put on 100 batting and did really, really well. I think they batted first.
Yeah, we batted second. We were chasing like 200.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they scored 241 or something, and we batted second. And I think we came 1 run short in 90 overs of cricket, 480 runs on the board, and to lose by 1 run, absolutely devastating. But what a game of cricket, and it was played in good spirit. It was just really, really good.
Yeah, no, that was I remember watching that. That was a proper nail biter. George Robertson needed 3 off the last ball, and you just think, he batted so well. He was on 80 on the out. Yeah, that was a cracker.
Cracker, yeah.
Robin, yourself?
I think the games I remember, the games I enjoyed, there was a couple of seasons, it was 2015-16, where we fiddled about with the teams a bit.
Yeah.
And I playing Strathmore Union cricket, which was something I never thought I'd be doing. And I think we were second in most of the games. I remember winning a game at Rossie Priory. A lovely place to play. It was probably second in my favourite places to play behind Cathay. And I remember thinking this, but I thought thinking back, But it was the first win at the highest level of competitive cricket that I've actually played at. So from, again, my personal point of view, it was nice. It's always nice to win games.
Yeah.
But it was.
Yeah. No, that's good. So have you guys got anything else you want to mention? Anything else you got written down that you want to say? Mark or anyone?
No, I just think the time with Stoneywood has been great. I think the grades needs to be developed. They need to look at keeping the numbers there, because it's a natural feeder. It gets people involved in cricket, and then from there, certainly for the likes of Stoneywood ourselves, you get them in the grades, and they can then go up to Strathmore, and then a natural step into the first team. It's such a big step if we don't have that natural progression. It's such a big step to go, grades into National League or Strathmore to National League. So I think it's important that we have a strong foundation locally. We're part of that as one of the main cricket club in Aberdeen.
Absolutely.
What's a positive? I know that this year we were supposed to be playing in Grade 2. Next year, we'll be playing in Grade 2 anyway. But a lot of the teams I mentioned at the start as being decent teams to play against are playing in Grade 2 next year. Mm-hmm. So it will be a good level for more experienced people, shall we say, and maybe some of the youngsters to play. It will be a good level for people who are maybe coming back to the game.
Yeah.
I know from having been along to juniors on a Friday night that there are a few dads who
used to play.
Whether they used to play, whether they want to play, the grades games and any Sunday development games will be a fantastic opportunity, I think, for them to play. If they've got older kids as well, just with their children.
Yeah.
And there'll then be the competitive element of who's better, dad or son. We already had that in the Lambley household. I think it's pretty much distinguished that Mark's probably the fourth best cricketer in that household.
That's after Lucy.
But no, I think that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Anyway, so we'll get on to picking your best ever grades teams that you've either played with or against. It doesn't have to be Stoneywood related, just whoever you've played with. I'll say, as you both said, you've had over 35, 40 years, so it's probably quite hard to pick an 11. But Mark, we'll start with yourself. Who's opening the bang?
Right. I've kind of gone. It's really hard because I've played with some cracking cricketers, with and against KP. So I've kind of gone with the guys who I found it hard. Seeing them play, I thought they were really good, and guys that I've played against, certainly bowlers that I found really difficult to think. So my openers would be Alex Keith, without a shadow of a doubt, Mr. Consistency, and Faz from Bonaccord.
Yeah, well, Keith played for Bodham, was it?
Yeah.
Was it Bodham and then Grammar? He's a great player, and also Faz Lawan scores runs every week, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Robin, who are you opening with?
Am I allowed to pick the same guys?
I was thinking this would be you're allowed to pick the same guys. It's just your both teams.
So, the best batsman I think that I have seen in grades cricket, and somebody who I think could quite easily have played it, certainly one level, probably two levels above it, is Fazal.
Yeah.
I was involved in the grade select, picking the grade select from about 2004 onwards, and every time we needed runs, he would come up with them. He'd score, he'd be playing against Strathmore Union guys in 20 overs on a Tuesday night or whatever, and he'd score 120. And
Faz Lawan did ever go at Aberdeenshire, didn't he?
I think he did when he was younger, and I think it was a travelling that got him. I think he had a couple of decent scores. Whether I mean, he enjoyed playing. He enjoyed playing at Monaco. I think there's an issue with a family connection there with Mallet.
Yeah.
Certainly, he enjoyed playing at Monaco. Part of a successful team, and I think that it was good. Like Mark said, Alec Keith is a great kicker, somebody who I can't say I ever particularly enjoyed bowling against, because it would usually disappear fairly violently and fairly quickly. But he's again got to know him through playing for Grade Select, and he's a really nice, genuine guy as well. Comfortably, if those two opened the batting and came off, you could be 150 after 10 over.
Yeah. Mark, you're 3 and 4.
3 and 4. I've got a couple of Anchorans ex-boys here. We've got Alan Forbes and Chris Forbes. Alan Forbes, batting, bowling wise. Chris, I think he's more known for his bowling in his last stages of his career, but in his day, he was an excellent batter as well. Could hit the ball, faster air shot. So that would be my 3 and 4. Chris and Alan.
Chris Forbes is a great bowler, wasn't he? Quickest bowler in the grades for a while, probably.
Yeah, and you know something? It was a good batter in his day. His batting kind of, I think he concentrated more on his bowling as he kind of progressed through his career. But in his younger days, he was a really, really good batter as well.
Mm-hmm. Right, I wrote down 6 guys for batsmen, and I reckon you could
put them all anywhere.
Well, the third and fourth guys I wrote down were Brian Alexander from Colts. He was, he was another fantastic batsman.
Mm-hmm.
He scored thousands and thousands of runs for Colts, and he always seemed to score. I don't remember getting him out or ever getting him out for less than 50 against games for Queen's Cross. I think I did get him out a couple of times, but usually by which time Colts had more than enough to beat us. And the next guy was John Barrett. John played for Ellen.
Yeah.
And he was another guy who was a very destructive batsman. Was probably more correct than he's a good technical batsman. He probably wasn't a guy who would score 30 in an over, but he probably scored 24 in an over. Proper shots that you for 4 all the time.
Proper drives, not slots, so okay.
Proper shots, and he was probably one of the best fielders. I think I remember having 3 run-outs in a Grade Select game or something. Guys kept hitting the ball. He was quite he had a physique similar to Mark's, except slightly smaller, slightly taller. Sorry, and I think guys kept hitting the ball, thinking it was going past him, and he'd pick it up, and he'd fling it in, and guys would barely cross. And also, if being able to bat and field wasn't enough, he also was a very good leg spin bowler.
Yeah.
So,
good top 4 so far. So 5 and 6.
5 and 6. I've got a wee Stoneywood connection here. So number 5 would be Akalak Bashir. Obviously, he's shown he can do it at any level. When he went down to the grades, he's obviously put on a few pounds just with commitments as various things, but he's still, on his day, is a quality bowler and a quality batsman. Number 6, I remember playing against this guy first at Huntly, and we went up with the Stoneywood team. There was myself, there was Jack, there was Alan McLean and his 2 kids, and Rufus was the captain of Huntly, and we went out and we batted first, and I opened the batting, and they had a wicket keeper, and he stood behind the stumps, and he never stopped talking from the time you went to the crease until the 45 overs ago. It was absolute poor banter non-stop. And came off, and then he went out and opened the back for them and scored 100. And luckily enough, it came to Stoneywood, so that would be Jordan Squire.
Yeah, good player, very good player. Shame he doesn't try and play higher level, because he's a good player and a good spinner, as we saw last year.
Yeah, Mark did things the wrong way around there. That game, Huntley won the top. Huntley batted first and scored 100. Jordan scored 100, because we had, I think, the two McLeans and Jack and another youngster up there that day. The old guys were you, me, Bruce played, Rory played, Alan played his first game for probably since his coffin cricket bag was made. Al Martin, who had never played cricket before, came up and played. So 10, we're up there with 10, and lost. They batted first, and a lad called Robin Howe opened the batting for them, and he was a really good player in his day. He got on a bit. Rory opened the ball, and the first over went for 10, the second over went for 10. I managed to bowl the other guy who didn't score runs at that point, and the sense of relief that I got when the first ball at Robin Howe disappeared under his bat, hit stumps. I thought, thank God for that. This could be awful long day. Jordan scored 100, batted very well, but I think if Robin Howe would never have been chasing 500 that day.
You're 5 and 6, Robin?
Sorry. my 5 and 6, again, are guys who've quite easily fitted in further up the order. Nawaz Mirza, who played for Concord, probably was one of the it was probably even scarier than Alec Keith to bat against. When he hit the ball, it went. He hit. I remember seeing him hit 34 off and over, playing a cup game against Queen's Cross. Funnily enough, I wasn't the bowler. He hit 34 off one over. We then changed the bowler. The first ball, the next over, went straight over his head for 5 wides. Hit the next one for 6. That was it. So we lost 56 runs off 10 balls, which I think was more than we scored the whole game. But he was a scary guy to bowl to, and he was also a really good bowler.
Yeah.
With a slower ball that, he was really quick, but in a slower ball that got guys out because he'd finished hitting it, or he'd finished covering rather, big time with ball and eye. Number 6 on the list is Andy Wynne. Andy played for Concord as well. But he kept wicket for them. But he was a New Zealander guy who he was probably the best technical batsman of them all. He is somebody who also could have played I think at a much higher level. I think he might have played New Zealand age group cricket with some good players.
Yeah. He is a good player, I remember.
He is one who I reckon, had he decided to come to say Stoneywood, he'd have been sitting there having played 100 games for our National League side by now.
Yeah.
No bother at all. He is still a very, very good player.
Yeah. So stars 7-8.
Yeah, 7-8. Something that Robin's already mentioned just now. My last kind of batsman, Robin Howe. Probably one of the in his days gone by, ex-hockey player, but such an eye for the ball. Saw him at Duthie Park a few times, absolutely dispatching bowlers into the trees or all sides of the ground. So Robin would be my number 7. Then we're into the bowlers, and I've got John Grant, our very own John Grant, coming in at number 8. Again, proves he can do it at any level, and certainly in the grades, he could just put a ball right on the spot and bowl you 10 overs for very, very few runs and take wickets.
It's good swing anything, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Just put on a dime, could swing in, and yeah, great bowler. Yeah, Robin, 7 and 8.
Well, my 7, 8 perhaps show who little I know about things were Mark's 3 and 4. I've picked Chris Forbes and Alan Forbes. Alan was probably one of the best players in the grades when I started.
Yeah.
He was a quick bowler. He was a very good, very destructive batsman, and he. I dare say it'd have been different playing with him as opposed to against him. He always seemed a bit reserved as an opponent. But Mark says he's a nice guy. I come across him a couple of times after that. And he seemed, he was a good guy. And number 8 is his son Chris, who I reckon was certainly up there as one of the best bowlers in the grades. And he as quick as anybody else. Like Mark said, he was a very powerful batsman. He'd hit the ball and it would stay hit. He's I think he's a very good golfer, and that some of the golf ability was maybe shown in some of his pictures. But yeah, he's the kind of guy who would always step things up.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember playing him a few years ago and he was still pretty quick, like playing for Gordonians. Slammers, finish off your team, 9, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11. These may be quite surprising. I don't know whether these are going back a bit. Number 9, and this is a surprise choice, and I discussed this with Jack as well. Gary Coots from Inverurie. He would bowl what could only be described as medium pace filth. If Gary ever watches this, there's certainly nothing meant by that, but he would put, similar to Robin, it would just be on the spot, a little bit of a waist swing every single time. And as a batsman, there's nothing more frustrating. And you would end up losing the head, and before you know it, you're having a big swing, and he's bowled you. Just that constant in line and length. And Gary, he's done it in every grade. He's been in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, 20 odd wickets last year as well. So, good on him. Number 10 would be Frank Summers from Kintoe. I don't know whether Robin would remember Frank. He was a quick bowler, and I just remember him as a young lad coming into the grades, playing out at Kintoe, and him opening the bowling. And at that point, I was probably batting, just started playing for Encore, and I was probably batting 4 or 5, and just thinking, quick. So that would be my number 10. And number 11, a guy that I think he's still playing now for Stonehaven, would be Clive Hinchcliffe. Clive, left arm around the wicket. Going back a few years, had some real battles with him. He used to bowl it with the ball kind of swinging into you and then nipping off the pitch. And again, another one, he would bang it in the spot, and it would be that length. You think, all right, I'm going to have a go at this. And before you know it, you've missed it and your stumps are clattered. So, and I think, Clive's still playing now. He's certainly not as quick as he used to be, but, in his day, Clive and Frank were very, very good bowlers and put it on the spot. So that's my 11.
Yeah, that's pretty good 11. Players you played with and against. Robin, finish off your team, 9, 10, 11.
Right. I struggled with picking the number 11, 11th guy. There were a lot of guys out there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go with probably Jerry Moyer for grammar as number 9. Jerry and me, I very much caught the tail end of him. Again, he's somebody who I've got to know through playing through grade select stuff. But the first few years he came back, he came back to play for Grammar in the grades. He bowled off half a dozen paces and bowl his 12 overs and get 3 for 8 or something, and the 8 would be 2 edges through the slips. And he had a bat that I think was about as front to back as it was side to side. Weighed about 4 stone or something, and hit the ball at bloody miles. He managed to eventually persuade me to play grade select, and he played in the final and came off his long run in the final. He bowled, I suppose what I would say, properly. It was really good to see. I think he bowled 4 overs against a professional and an overseas amateur, and went for about 10 runs in his 4 overs. I think he got a couple of guys before that out. He was number 10 is against a guy I only played against once, but he's one of the 2 first-class cricketers that I ever played against. And this is Dallas Moyer, who's Jerry's brother. Remember turning a game against Grammar once at Harlaw, and saw Jerry sitting there and said hello and no reaction. But okay, fair enough, that's strange. So around that, goes in, gets changed, comes back out, and there's Jerry sitting there with another Jerry sitting beside him. They were twins, I don't know if you knew that. They were both 6'8". Dallas played for Derbyshire and scored a first-class 100. I think he was apparently pretty close to being selected for England once or twice. We play against him. He doesn't bowl. I think apparently the last guy who kept wicket who he bowled to was Bob Taylor, who's the England wicket keeper. So he probably had been a bit of a handful at Harlaw. And after we scored 150 odd, we get the 15 for 2, and Dallas comes in at number 4 and pokes about for a bit. You think, thought he'd be better than this.
Yeah.
He started, and he ended up scoring 97, not out. And I may be wrong, but I think, certainly my memory, is that he hit one from the far end at Harlaw, the end furthest away from the pavilion, that hit the fence behind the pavilion. One of those ones where you're standing there on the boundary thinking, I'm glad I'm not bowling. I'm glad I'm not bowling. So that's 9 and 10. The 11th one is the only Stoneywood player that I've picked. And it's no, it's not you. It's not you. And part of the reason for this is because I would have loved to have seen him standing in the team photo between the 2 6'8" Moyers. And this is Abdullah Fahim.
Yeah.
I think he is. If he hadn't gone away, he'd have been probably. And assuming that he still kept his ability, of course, I think he would have been playing.
Absolutely, he was a great player. I remember. I mean, we spoke about him with yes.
Not than that. And I think just his whole attitude to things, he just enjoyed it so much. And I think he could genuinely have got anybody out. I don't think any of the guys who were in my list above that would have been comfortable facing him.
Yeah, absolutely. His mistress was ridiculous.
And that's my 11. I'd have come in as well probably for any of these guys.
That's good. That's 2 good 11s, and thanks both for coming on and sharing your stories about the grades and your time at Stoneywood. Yeah, no, thanks very much, and thanks everyone for watching.